Good morning. So today we're going to talk about how to change a wheel on a car. Something that might seem so simple, but a lot of people don't know how to do it. So to save you getting into a sticky situation if you get a puncture or a flat tyre, you'll know how to do it in the future. Certain tools that you're going to need for doing this. Obviously if you've got wheel trims on, most people put cable ties just to hold the wheel trim on so they don't lose them as they're driving down the road. So to get the wheel trim off, you're going to need to cut the cable ties, and for that you're going to need a small pair of cable cutters. Okay, once you've cut that trim off, you can then just release, or the ties off, you can release the trim, and then you'll be able to get to see the wheel nuts on the car. So we just snip the trims, take them out of the way, and we can just release them off, and obviously there's your wheel nuts. Then you're going to need to just crack your wheel nuts off. You don't want to undo them all the way, not until the vehicle is supported. And to crack them off, you're going to need what we call a breaker bar. Now, there's certain ones that do come with a vehicle. They're normally very short and they're quite awkward to use. So if you can afford to get one of these, grab yourself a little breaker bar, get a socket to go on the end of it that's going to be suitable size for the wheel nuts of your vehicle. And then you're just going to literally, one by one, put them on the nut, crack them off, and just literally one turn is enough initially. So once you've cracked off your wheel nuts, you're then going to need to find the appropriate jack to raise the car up. Now, I've got a little array of 4 different ones here. You may choose one that's suitable for your own car, or whatever is maybe easiest for you to use. The 4 types I've got here is a trolley jack, this little blue one, and it's a hydraulic jack. There's a little nut on the end here that you would tighten up initially. That makes sure that the hydraulic fluid is going to get pumped to the right places it needs to, and obviously when you then start pumping up the jack, it comes up at the end, raise the vehicle, and then to let it back down again, you just unloosen that nut and the trolley jack will come back down again. All the hydraulic ones are very sort of similar principle. Lock off the hydraulics first, pump the vehicle up, undo the hydraulic nut again, releases the liquid inside. Very similar to this one. Again, it's a hydraulic one. This is called a bottle jack. Again, you've got a little locking nut on this one, just here. You'd lock that one up, pump up the vehicle, and then obviously release that nut again to let it come back down again. This one's got the added bonus of a nice thread on the top where you can take up most of the gap between the floor and the vehicle before you start having to pump it up. This one will go a lot higher than the trolley jack. Then we got what is called a scissor jack. This normally comes with most vehicles, or something very similar to this, designed to fit certain parts of the vehicle. On this one there is a little notch that runs right along the sill of the vehicle. If we have a look under here, there's a little sill notch here, and the little scissor jack itself, when it goes in, would locate into that little slot, and then as you wind it up again, it'll just wind the vehicle up as you go, and then you wind the handle back down again to let it come back down. We've also got what we call an air jack, something very similar to the police, the fire brigade use in case of road traffic accidents, to maybe secure a vehicle, make it safe if somebody's trapped underneath a vehicle or something like that, or even structures that might be collapsing. They may use some of these just to actually support the structure. I'll show you this one in a minute. It's quite good, ever so quick, but you must have a vehicle that's running to be able to do it. Now I'm lucky I've got a little donor vehicle here. It's nice and quick. And the idea of this is that the little funnel bit at the end there goes over the exhaust of a vehicle whilst it's running, and the air from the exhaust literally just fills up the bag. The bag inflates and raises the vehicle. And there are little rubber mats that go underneath the jack itself and one on top, so it doesn't actually puncture the bag. But it's ever so good. Got a one-way valve on it, so that once you then have got it at the right height, you can just release it off the exhaust. The jack itself will stay up, and then you just release the hose from it when you want to bring it back down again. It comes down nice and gently. But I'll show you that one again in a minute. So obviously we've just cracked the nuts off on the wheel. What we now need to do is obviously get the jack supported one way or another with one of these jacks, so it's up in the air, so we can then release the nuts and take the wheel off. Okay, so I've got the trolley jack in place underneath the car, situated where it needs to be supporting the vehicle, and literally it's just a case of having locked off the hydraulic nut. We just pump the vehicle, and it needs to take out all the suspension of the vehicle first. You've got to raise it up the full length of the suspension before the wheel's going to start coming off the ground. You'll start to feel a bit of resistance against the hydraulic jack, and you just got to literally get it enough so literally the wheel is just off the floor. You don't need to go much higher. Always make sure that you do this on a nice level surface, nice and flat. You don't want to be doing it on a hill, because you could potentially have the car rolling off down the hill. That would then make it fall off the jack as well. Could be quite dangerous, and obviously you don't want to be too high that potentially if you're anywhere underneath the car that the car falls on you. Always make sure your handbrake's on as well before performing any of this. So we've got the jack up enough that the wheel can just be rotated. You're then just going to literally release the nuts all the way. I'm just going to pause the video a second whilst I do this, and we'll come back to it. So as if by magic, all the nuts are undone. Come to the last one, take the last little bit off. We then have a loose wheel. Okay, nice and loose. Literally just pop it off the bolts, bring it away, and then you can just literally slide your new tyre, new wheel back on, and the reverse order. Tighten up your nuts first, as sort of tight as you can get initially. Then you're going to need to release the jack so that the car gets back down on the floor, and then you're going to really fully tighten up the nuts so that they're at the manufacturer's specified torque setting. To do that, you would need one of these. It's what we call a torque wrench. You just set the correct pressure that's required for the particular car and vehicle you're driving, and make sure they're all nice and tight. So there we go, how to change a wheel on a car. Very simple. I will get back to showing you the air pump in a minute, or the air jack. I'm just going to pause the video again just whilst I get the other vehicle started. So here we have it, one air jack. As you can hear, the engine's running on my other vehicle. It's just making it easier for me to do this and to be able to show you. Otherwise I'd be stuck behind the back of the car whilst I'm holding the pump on the back of the exhaust. Okay, so the hose, as you can see, running away from the car to the exhaust on the back of the other vehicle, and literally just shoving the tube over the hose. You can see the air pump goes up very, very quickly. And as you can see, the car there is nicely off the floor. Okay, so they're ever so good, ever so quick, a lot less effort than there is on one of the trolley jacks and stuff, but you've got to make sure that obviously the bag, this one here, can lift the vehicle up to 2 tonne. You can get bigger ones, but it does make it a lot easier. Obviously if you are a little bit more frail, make sure that the surface that you're putting it on is adequate to suit what you need. So just to release this, all we need to do is just undo the nut, and the bag will deflate. Just be careful, because obviously the fumes that are coming out of there are fumes that have come out of the car, the exhaust, so they're not very nice. Take off your rubbers, one above, one below. Job done. Car's back on the floor. So nice and simple one, that one. I just thought if any of you are thinking of different methods, then you've got sort of quite a wide variety of stuff that you could use. Okay, happy driving guys.